Honkai Star Rail 4.4 is the climax of the Plan Arcadia storyline and our confrontation against Asat Pramod, the Lord Ravager opposing Elation. We also learn the truth behind Himiko's identity and hints that we may have a greater foe in the horizon in the form of the Veracity. While all of this sounds cool and epic, in reality, this patch fell flat on its face. It's nothing but a collection of failures and fumbles. This is one of the worst patches in 4.x, and possibly of all time for this game. 4.4 is actually quite short, but all of the meandering and bumbling about makes it feel tedious. On top of that, emotional moments and reveals fall flat because of the hype cycle of drip marketing, teasers, and trailers kind of spoil everything. And of course, this game's poor animation and cutscene direction makes moments look terrible and take you out of the experience, or are just borderline goofy in hindsight. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we continue any further, greetings, I'm Seraphilor. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you consider subscribing, and if you're not new, welcome back. Let's discuss HSR patch 4.4. I almost have nothing good to say about this patch. I am scraping at something positive to say, so I'll try my best. I always want to balance things with positives and negatives, but this will be quite the task today. I do like Asat Pramod as an antagonist, and I'm glad they didn't try to redeem him at the end. None of this, at the end of the day, he's still my father, bullshit. That was something I was deeply concerned about, and I am glad the writers didn't go that route as of right now. At the end of the day, his Imagine-infused power set isn't the flashiest, but he managed to create tension whenever he was on screen. I also like the truth of Himiko, in concept. The writers carefully play with our expectations all the way up till the reveal. Is our Himiko really Motoko the Imagine? Did they fuse together and become one entity? Is the real Himiko still somewhere in Ahatopia? I also like how the truth that Himiko was the genuine one even threw Asat Pramod through a loop. He was so confident in his assumptions that he didn't stop to think of another possibility. And while Asat Pramod is defeated this patch, Plan Arcadia doesn't seem over yet. The Veracity is stirring, and we have to stop Ouroboros from reviving itself in the canvas. Also, finally, we get to see Stel or Kylus again, too, after Himiko's fake death. We gleaned some insights into who they are here. It seems like they're from another timeline where Himiko died for real, and now they're in this timeline questioning the Trailblazer. Interestingly, they mention that you are still on the path of the Trailblaze. Does this mean this alternate timeline version of the Trailblazer is no longer on that path? Could their path be finality? Or is it the mysterious fourth path that will bring about the end of the universe? It's very interesting stuff, and I'm looking forward to all of the fan theories. And that's pretty much everything good I have to say. Let's get into what I don't like. I'll gloss over the pacing because at this point I'm just beating a dead horse. I mentioned the pacing and how slow and boring it is like every fucking video I make, so I'm not going to continue harping on it too much here. But really, damn, did this story feel really slow despite being only 4 or 5 hours? It felt like 8 hours because nothing really happens until we switch POVs to Himiko. Even then, there's a lot of things that could have been cut to make this section a bit more manageable, like the parts where Asat Pramod is role-playing Ryusuke again. Himiko's secret lair, the hospital, and her survival were the only things that mattered. The big reveal for Himiko's survival was also poorly executed. Someone who may or may not have been Aha gives Motoko the ability to extend Himiko's lifespan in exchange for her own. It was handled extremely clumsy, with black screens and reused CG artwork in order to make the emotions hit. I wish we got a full CGI cutscene of Motoko's sacrifice, or a 2D animated cutscene. It would have made this moment hit hard. Motoko was Himiko's idealized self, and Himiko swore to return to Planet Arcadia to tell her everything that had transpired after she boarded the Express. The emotions just weren't there, aside from the stellar voice acting. Another knock against this patch is the massive time waster that is playing 21 questions with Asat Pramod during the climax. What the fuck was this? When it came to the lore we learned from this section, this was phenomenal. Lots of juicy info from Asat Pramod. Elation, destruction, and his time as Icy. But from an entertainment perspective, this was incredibly lazy and dull. You could tell the writers just gave up here. Time was not on their side, and they had all of this lore they couldn't place anywhere, so they decided to give us a lore dump segment under the guise of a game. And it's not like what we learned was pointless or bad. Granted, I didn't pick any of the goofier options, but I'm sure those had some decent nuggets of lore too. And the biggest offender to why this patch sucks so much is almost everything surrounding Himiko's fake death. Where do I even begin? My problems regarding Himiko begins in 3.7, Amphorius' climax. Remember that scene where the Trailblazer sees visions of everyone, including Kafka and Himiko? Himiko tells the Trailblazer that she has secrets yet to be revealed, or whatever, before disappearing. This was incredibly lazy writing. Himiko might as well look into the camera and wink while she's at it. A garbage attempt at baiting the players not to quit this fucking game after the slog they went through already for 3.7. Planet Arcadia until this point didn't do a lot for me in regards to liking Himiko's character. I don't like her more than I did when 4.0 started, and I don't like her less. I'm just neutral. All she has are moments, and I think that's the best way to put it. This is just another one of those moments to me, and it's done so bad it would be comical if not for one thing, which we'll discuss later. The Trailblazer, during the battle against Asat Pramod, has their Stellaron act up for some unknown reason, and Himiko jumps in to protect us from Asat Pramod's attack. The Stellaron explodes and Himiko helps us and makes a wish onto the Stellaron. This sequence is cool, if not nonsensical, because how the hell does the Stellaron start tweaking out in the first place? Because the Trailblazer was injured? The trauma of the Express in flames? It's never explained. The entire campfire scene with Himiko saying her goodbyes was hot ass. I would appreciate that the developers animated crying if nearly everything else in this exchange wasn't so badly animated to the point where I wouldn't be surprised if some people laughed out loud at this exchange. No motion capture, stock hand to chest animations, it's all done so comically bad, dog. I don't understand for the life of me why this wasn't a 2D animated cutscene or high quality CGI. Instead, we get a half-baked farewell. Now, I said it's almost bad, and that's because the voice actors, especially in English, act their asses off here. They do a phenomenal job for what we got, and for that, I give them their flowers. Another reason why this scene falls on its face is because, bruh, Himiko Nova hasn't shown up yet. You expect me to believe that Himiko's gone for good when we all know from the drip marketing and trailers that she'll be alive and well? Now, this isn't some narrative faux pas. You can make character fake-out deaths work well when the audience knows that they'll live but not the protagonists. Red Dead Redemption 2 and Witcher 3 come to mind. I'll avoid spoilers, but let's just say that those fake-out deaths work wonders. The point of a fake-out death is to get the protagonist's reaction, seeing them at their lowest point so that the audience can project empathy towards them. Also, it shows us who the protagonist really is under the stoicism, memes, cheery persona, etc. It was incredibly hard for me to feel empathetic towards the Trailblazer because of how poorly Himiko's death was handled and also how quickly it was resolved. She dies and then comes back 10 minutes later thanks to the Stellaron. That's not peak writing, folks. That's hot garbage. The type of writing you do for the webtoon manga you'll never make or finish. As I mentioned earlier, the story ends with Asat Pramad's defeat, and him stating that the veracity is awakening, and if everyone can survive what's coming. But, man, I don't know if I'm up to this whole song and dance again. Plan Arcadia has been so polarizing. Even the worst of Inforius has some entertaining nuggets here and there, but this is just terrible. The rewrites really cost this region a lot, and I have no idea how the story is going to finish strong. Amphorius failed, and this just might be another failure too. But what do you all think about this patch's story? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Later.